And of course, as always, we welcome in our representatives from the city of Horicon as well as the Horicon School District. Normally, I take the time to introduce you guys, but I think I'll give you guys a chance to introduce yourselves because you know yourselves better than I do. You can introduce your titles and introduce why it is that we bring you guys on the show once a month. Who wants to go first?
My name is Katie Schwartz. I'm the superintendent for the school district of Horicon, and delighted to be here today. We are here in partnership between both of our organizations, the Marshman Foundation and also the Marsh Area Chamber of Commerce, who help to provide these opportunities for us to tell all about the great things that are happening in Horicon and the surrounding community. Josh?
Thank you. You guys know me, Mayor Josh Moss, City of Horicon. Get lucky enough to follow up. Sounds like Mayor Rob Belk was on right before us from the city of Mayville. If anyone looks on the map, Mayville and Horicon are right next to each other. Horicon is the smaller but much more beautiful sister to the southwest. And this has been a great thing for the city. And thank you, like Katie said, to the partners that make this happen. So the city, the school district, the Marshman Foundation, the Marsh Area Chamber of Commerce, thank you to all of us, because this has really been a great opportunity, not only for Katie and I, but for the guests who come with us to kind of talk about what's going on in town.
A lot of times, and I know this from being an American citizen and living in one of our great cities in Wisconsin, that you're not always apprised of what's going on at the school district. You ask your kids, and sometimes your kids don't even know what's going on. You're not always apprised of what's happening at the city level and city government, and you don't find out about it until you hear somebody complaining at the grocery store or the gas station. And this is kind of a nice way for you guys to get that information out there in another easily digestible way for people.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, and in a factual way, too. Information spreads very quickly and not always directly from either of our sources. So it's a great opportunity for us to share directly with the community all the things that are going on and tell the story.
There you go. Not that either of you look like equines, but so to speak, directly from the horse's mouth is the way we're looking at here.
Yeah. I look much more like the back end of an equine compared to Katie, so I understand.
If you guys are doing a play, one could be the back, one could be the front, it'd be fine. We, of course, like to start off generally with what's going on with the city. And so we're going to go ahead and let you take it away, Mayor Josh Moss.
Okay, just for a promise, I promised actually your assistant up at the high school, the Horicon Lions Club was going to bring it up. Their safari dinner is February 14th. It's their largest annual fundraiser they have. So please reach out to a local Lion for either a meal ticket or a raffle ticket. It's a fun way to spend Valentine's Day with a bunch of other people in Horicon that care.
There you go.
And last night we had our monthly council meeting. If you would have looked at the agenda, it was almost 2.5 pages long, so it looked like it was going to be the longest council meeting in history. But a lot of it was simply going through the motions of, I guess, accepting the ordinances and the budget items that we passed last October. So simple things like, the wage increases, or some of the larger purchases like DPW upgrades, or some of the ones downtown or in other departments, because you know how long it takes a lot of those things to come in, like a truck and all that stuff. So in January, we try to get those larger ticket items ordered and paid for, so we can actually take receipt of those things during the year. So it was a lot of that kind of stuff. We did get another EMT on board. Our EMS is getting very strong where we needed it to be, and that's a plus. The new EMS coordinator we have has told me that it's awesome to see us fully scheduled all the way out. For us, we do a lot of auto aid with Juneau and the cities around us, because getting EMS people is hard.
Right.
The volunteer spirit that we all grew up with isn't necessarily there, and being an EMT is a hard job, and it takes a lot of training. And when you're on schedule, you're on schedule.
Right.
You are almost required by statute to be there. And now we're getting our schedules filled. A lot of things going really, really well. And then I know we signed off on our being a world migratory bird city again yesterday. And a couple of the other things, just the normal things that we have to go through. It was just a very long, very succinct, though, agenda. just
Right.
line item, line item, line item, line item, and then we're done. Not much in the way of fireworks, but it was productive. We need meetings like that. Once in a while, an easy one that accomplishes a lot is kind of relaxing and refreshing. They're rare.
Right. Something
So
allows you to
I'll take it as a win.
tick off all the boxes without having to deal with, the potential of ticking off too many people.
Yep.
Yeah.
And, so that was mainly about council. I did put on the agenda, I kind of want to give an update to the residents on some of the things coming to town. On the that complex of yellow, they kind of look like warehouses on the corner of Clinton and Westlake, or Clinton and E. That's where it used to be the old Bethesda warehouses, but now Sunnyside Hatchery, which was here in Beaver Dam for over 100 years.
Right.
They are now in Horicon. They are increasing their capacity immensely. We are so excited to have them. And, that's a new thing. They're going to have an open house and stuff coming up soon. I don't want to come on here and kind of steal their thunder because it's their job to produce the thunder. But we're really excited to be partners with them. Their kids go to our school district. They live on the east side of town, and they've been great to work with. I'm super excited. One of the bigger things, it was kind of embarrassing to see my daughter in my face take up half of the Saturday Daily Citizen a couple days ago, or was it last weekend? But looks like Horicon is going to be getting a cobblestone inn and suites at the Old Hardy site. We're going to have a very, a mid to upper scale hotel chain, which I was personally going after Cobblestone because they live in Wisconsin. They are headquartered in Wisconsin. They care about the Wisconsin small cities. And Cobblestone they look for those small, underserved cities. And Horicon is in such a unique place. We're in a dead center of the county, even more so than Juneau on the map. But we're only 5 miles from Mayville. We're 3 miles from Juneau. We're 10 miles from Beaver Dam. We're about 5-6 miles from Iron Ridge. You have Burnett. The traffic through downtown Horicon is, like I said before, similar to what the traffic is in front of Fleet Farm.
Right.
So we have the demand. Plus, we have the largest employer in the county in John Deere, who has daily visitors that are now staying in Beaver Dam, or they're staying in West Bend, or they're staying in Fond du Lac. But we have other feeder industries in town that, bend metal and other processes for John Deere, as well as standalone ones or competitors like Metalcraft, Marlin, Gardner, and other ones that are there in town that also need places for people to stay, not counting the people that come to, take boat tours and all that other stuff. It was something we just didn't have. And I want to make it clear, we're not trying to compete with, the somewhat local other hotels, the private ones like the Mayville Inn or Royal Oaks. This is a different type of product. As I said, it's mid to upper scale, so in theory, it should be probably the nicest place to stay in the county. And we're looking, mainly for the business travelers or people that are in town for weddings or people that are coming here for a specific reason. I personally like it, so when my family comes to visit, they're not staying in Columbus or Madison or Waupun or those
Right.
other hotels.
Or in your house.
Yes.
I feel you on that one.
Yeah, so this we're really excited for it. So right now, our community development group that our city has, a bunch of successful people in town have been tasked. This is not new. We've had this group for decades now. They kind of go out and look for these opportunities. In this case, they're kind of looking for the investors up front, because we want this to be locally owned by a local group of people. Right. If it gets to the point where maybe there isn't enough, money, for it to be completely local, and we'll start hitting the people up in Juneau and Mayville and Iron Ridge and Beaver Dam to see if they want to get in, because, we saw the numbers, we have the pro forma, we're really confident that this is going to be great. But that's going to be a different type of service that we're bringing to this town we just never had before. And it's going to be in the downtown
Right.
TID. park there. You could walk to your appointments at John Deere. You can walk to the Rock River Tap. You can walk to Blue Heron. You can walk to Sweet Chatchaya. You can walk to Oronda's. You can walk to City Hall. I mean, everything is right there. So we're pretty excited about it.
So yeah, that is kind of exciting, and obviously you're still very early on in the stages of that. But is there a preferred timetable?
Yeah, we're actually pretty far along.
Really?
So
Okay.
a couple of us been working on this for years. The city has already passed a pay-go. It's in a TID. And we're at the point now, if we get the investment we need, we could probably put shovels in a couple of months. They already
wow.
have a site plan. You know, we shared the site plan with, some potential investors on Monday. It, like I said in the paper, it fits that piece of property like a glove. And how many places do you have a really cool hotel that's overlooking a river? You can see John Deere. I mean, you could potentially bring a kayak because you're right next to Bowling Green Park. Throw it on your shoulder, walk down and launch out for the afternoon after a meeting. It's just in a unique, really cool place that I think will highlight our downtown, our city quite a bit. Pretty excited about that.
That is awesome. Any other new businesses people should have their eyes out for, or anything else on the horizon that we can mention now?
Nothing that I feel comfortable mentioning now.
Okay.
But there are a couple things that we're working on really hard. Well, Cody, our DPW director, he's working really hard on, along with MSA and others. There are some potential upgrades and upgraded businesses and a couple other things that we're looking at doing. But we're a town of 3,900 people. There's only so much that our city employees can take on all at once. And just a couple other things I wanted to bring up today. You probably have seen the meetings that we're looking at potentially combining the fire EMS. Actually, Katie's on that committee with us.
Yep.
And we're exploring ways to, make both departments stronger. As you know, throughout the county, a lot of the smaller departments that don't have the full-time folks, like the Beaver Dams, Water Towns, Waponds, are having a hard time surviving. Our fire department doesn't have any problem surviving. Our fire department's excellent. Our EMS is now strong as ever. But we also auto-aid with a lot of the cities around us.
Right.
And we have to be as strong as possible in order to be able to provide those services to the communities around us that need us too. And one of those ways is potentially, combining our fire EMS. It's not uncommon. It's all over the place where, Iron Ridge Fire and Rescue, so their first responders are part of their fire department. It's not really unheard of, but, even though the fire and EMS and Horicon share bay doors at our public safety building,
Right.
everything has been pretty, the two positions and the two departments have been purposely, isolated, not isolated from each other, but separated from each other for a variety of reasons. So right now we're kind of looking at a way where we can combine them just for an efficiency thing. If it's something that doesn't save us money and doesn't make us more efficient, we will know and we won't go down that road. That's why we're exploring it now.
Right. I know for a while there's a lot of news stories in the last couple of years about smaller EMS groups just shutting their doors entirely and not being able to service surrounding communities, let alone their own community. Now, the agreement you guys have with surrounding communities, does that help bolster your EMS and keep it kind of where it's at?
The first part of your thing, yeah. I mean, you saw what happened recently with Thressel and Elmira. So
Right.
Naval's covering them. Does having those auto aids that we have with Kikoski, Juno, and others bolster us? In a way, but it also, also taxes us in a way. We have 2 rigs, but it all depends on how many people we have staffed at any given time. There's been plenty of times in the recent past where Juno's had to cover Horicon, Horicon's had to cover Juno, and that kind of isolates the other city, when you're doing it. So we're looking at ways to make sure, and the strongest way to, to save any department is to have more volunteers that sign up to be either EMRs or EMTs. So we're really working on that. It's really important. And nowadays, for a variety of reasons, there just aren't as many people that, our fire department is full, but we still get people that want to join that. Our our EMS is getting really close up again to where it needs to be to have the amount of people on it that is, well, there's a max level supported by ordinance, so 28 total members, and we're getting closer to there. But like any of those kind of departments, including fire, you might have 28 people on that roster, but 6 or 7 are doing all the work or are showing up to all or taking all the shifts. If we get it to the point where, we are shifted out, our schedule's full, that's actually a really good sign. It might take away a few shifts from those who use it. Some people, this is how they get paid. This is their job.
Right.
But at the same time, our hardest shifts to historically fill are during the day. It isn't as easy back in the day when half the people that worked at John Deere were also firemen or EMTs, and they could park in those designated spots downtown Horicon so they could run and do that. Those employers aren't as open to allowing you to run off for an hour and a half for a call anymore.
Right. That shuts down their production levels. And yeah.
Okay, so what we're trying to figure out is how do we maintain the coverage we need mainly during the days, weekdays. Weekends isn't the problem.
Right.
It's the times during when people work. So that's why we're having these meetings. Hopefully by next budget season, we'll have something that we can present to the full council, and we have some kind of solution. I think we will get there. We've looked at different types of solutions so far. We just haven't come up with the right one yet because we're still in the exploring stage. But we'll get there.
Let's highlight something interesting because you mentioned you being on the board for that and having those conversations. There's a lot of different little groups and boards that help kind of get together and discuss this stuff. And I've noticed that in Horicon, I don't know about other cities, but I've noticed you guys, there's a lot of people who are on maybe the school board council or those groups, and then also on a city board somewhere, and then might also be on a nonprofit group with the Lions or something. A lot of people wear a lot of hats. Does that help with you guys being able to communicate a little bit better and get things done, do you think?
Yeah, but we could also use a hell lot more people that want to do this kind of thing.
Right. You hear the analogy that it takes a village to raise a child, but I think it takes a village to run the village and also to keep the community thriving. So Horicon wouldn't be nearly as strong without all of the volunteers who make everything happen, whether it is the Marsh Area Chamber, the Phoenix Group, and I will probably forget some people in here, the Lions Club, and then many of us are connected, whether that is through additional exploratory committees like this one that we're referring to, or congregational church organizations. There are a lot of opportunities to be a greater part of the community rather than existing in, if we all just existed in silos, I don't think a lot would get done. But what makes us strong is the ability of everyone to kind of work together to make it as good as it can be.
Yeah, we do have a lot of cross-pollination between those different boards. A lot of that is due to only a few are willing to give their time. In this case, with the fire and EMS, we got myself, we got the chamber president, or not chamber president, the council president, which is Forrest Fromme. Right. Then we have the fire chief, Mark Tesh, the EMS coordinator, Dustin Wook, and I wanted the fifth person to be someone who doesn't deal with fire and EMS. I wanted someone neutral because obviously fire is going to have their lane, EMS is going to have their lane. Forrest has his very specific lane as council president. I have mine. We wanted someone who was a leader, who was respected, but maybe really doesn't understand how our fire and EMS currently works.
Right.
So they can come in completely open to listening to both sides and can come out of this, or comes into this unbiased and comes out with an idea. So that's why we asked Katie. We wanted someone that was a leader that knows how to handle upper level kind of meetings, but at the same time doesn't come in with a bias.
I've been able to ask a lot of questions that other people knew the answers to, and I didn't.
Right. And that's important because sometimes asking those questions from an outside point of view can really kind of open up people's thinking who are very much I'm just going to focus on the fire department. you might ask a question that makes them go, you know what, you're right. Maybe I'm a little too focused. I need to broaden my horizons. So that's awesome. I want to praise you guys for the amount of interconnectivity you guys have over there.
Thank you.
Anything else city-wise we want to focus on, talk about before we start moving on to some of the school district stuff?
I just want to tell anyone that's listening, it's more complicated with the rate study and all the stuff we're trying to do with the wastewater treatment plant. Friday is going to be our big pre-con meeting at 8 a.m. That's when we know what's going to be going on. And then in February, Katie's going to be bringing in some folks for your musical, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then March, we will bring in Cody and probably the 2 engineers from MSA who so they can talk about the project.
Awesome.
We won't be ready, and we meet again, in 3 weeks already.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we won't be ready. We got to make sure we want to get those rates down. And we don't want to speculate. That doesn't help anyone. By the March meeting, we should have all this wrapped up and ready to go. So, March, I will bring in the folks that will talk about the wastewater treatment plant.
Awesome. And I know that isn't this topic that I've heard kind of people talking a little bit about in the background. I've seen some things on, obviously, for a city that's kind of on the grow like Horicon, that's a big focal point for you guys.
Oh, it's huge. And, we're at the point now with our rates of water, discharge rates and stuff. Until we get this done, we can take on some homes. We can take on a hotel. We sure the hell can't take on any industry until we get this done.
Right.
So the faster we get going, get moving, get shovels in the ground, then, the faster that we'll have the critical infrastructure in place to bring on these new industries, hopefully, either out at Marsh and Crossing or at other places around town.
I know we've seen, for quite a while now that the longer you wait, the pricier things get. So sometimes a little bit of a haste is a good thing.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, Mayor Josh Moss, thank you for that. We're now going to take a minute to switch over. Katie Schwartz, of course, superintendent with the Beaver Dam the Horicon School District.
That's right.
I say that a lot here, unfortunately. So
I
that
used
comes
to
out of my
work
mouth.
for Beaver Dam.
So you know how things work here.
I get it.
But obviously, Horicon, first and foremost, I got to say again, I love the way you guys have everything in one building. To me, that just makes so much sense. When I think back to my childhood and having to go elementary school, actually, when I was in school in Columbus, they had 2 elementary schools, and then trying to bring everybody back together from middle, and then you go to high school, and it was such a huge change going from one to the other. It was an overwhelming sensation.
Yeah, and I would say because of our size, it works amazingly well for us. It is a huge blessing for us to have everybody on site. We've talked several times, and I know Rich had talked about it too, the opportunities for our bigs and our littles, our older kids to work with our younger kids. And just all of our staff are on one campus, which builds some efficiency in as well, because we do have shared staff among all of the buildings. But that one campus provides us with many opportunities to kind of just have that sense of community. I think that helps even more.
That is awesome. But of course, we're not here to talk about the great building there, even though it is a great building. There's a lot of other stuff that's going on at the school district, and we've got a whole agenda of things we want to touch on. So by all means, take it away.
Thank you. Well, speaking of the building, our initial bond for that building was in 2018, and it is now callable. And so I have great news. I like to start with some budget stuff, get that out of the way every time that I talk. But we have some great news regarding that note, because we were able to send that out to have it reserviced. And through that process, we happened to hit it at just the right time for interest rates. And we refinanced that largest bond, and our debt savings over time for the remainder amount of that bond is at least $557,000.
Wow.
And we had additional funds on hand from interest savings in that specific fund up to $155,000. So our total savings through refinancing of that was $727,000.
That's
over the
nothing to
course,
sneeze at. That's
no,
awesome.
it is not. And over the course of the remainder amount of that bond, then what that does is it lowers the levy for that bond, starting in 2027 by over $120,000 per year. So that's a direct savings to the taxpayers in terms of our tax levy. And so we were really excited about that opportunity to refinance that loan basically and create some savings. So that was great news. And the rest of our budget is very much on track. I meet with my principals and department heads very frequently, reviewing the budget just to see where we are, make sure we're on track, and forecast any other issues. We are well over halfway through our fiscal year already. And so, a majority of the things that we plan on purchasing over the course of a school year are already completed because we're in session. And barring any other unforeseen circumstances or exceptional amounts of snow removal that will need to continue to happen, we're very much on track. So I'm pleased to report that.
Can I say one thing? Now you said snow removal.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just want to bring up snow removal. I know the DPW put that post out earlier this week. I know
About the sidewalks?
about the sidewalks. We let that go for a while. They are going out and doing a survey of the sidewalks today. Please try to get your sidewalks shoveled today or tomorrow. There are many, many properties in town that still haven't shoveled. And I know it's been cold. It's been awful. But it's at the point now where the amount of people that have called into DPW, have called the cops on the unshoveled sidewalks, has reached a level where we need to enforce it. So please, if you can, get out and shovel your sidewalk today. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and that has been a huge tax on both of our systems. We had that period of time that came through with, I think snow was falling consistently for days on end.
5 days in a row.
So I just want to give a shout out not only to the city, but also our local people who are helping, Brian Bergeron and his staff, who have kept and maintained our facilities at a very high level to ensure that everyone's safe is very much appreciated. And that work doesn't go unnoticed, but we surely take it for granted.
Right.
So, so we're really pleased that everything is on track with that. And for Brian's sake, hoping that some of the snow and weather things just calm down a little bit. But in the next set of news, we just received word from the Advanced Placement Group stating that for the second year in a row, Horicon schools have reached the silver level of recognition through the AP Honor Roll. And I know when Josh and I were in school, I don't believe any AP classes were offered.
I had to go to, they did, not at Horicon. I had to go to, there's 4 of us that went to Beaver Dam every morning for AP Physics, and 2 of us that went to Mayville in the afternoon for AP Calculus.
Yes.
Now Horicon has everything.
We have many AP offerings, and we're really proud of the work that we've done to get to this point. To achieve this award, there are 3 standards that they looked at. The first was how many of our students took at least one AP exam.
Right.
And we're at 50% of our students in high school have taken one AP exam, and that landed us at the silver level. 36% scored a 3 or higher on at least one AP exam, and that 3 or higher, it does get you college credit, and that puts you at the gold level. And then 19% of our students took 5 or more AP exams. Now, for a school our size, I think that's pretty impressive, and it put us at the platinum level. So we are exceptionally proud of not just the students for taking chances on taking the AP exams, but our teachers who have prepared them so well to be so successful. So great news and a great job to everybody involved with the advanced placement process. Mrs. DeZeo, our counselor, who does a lot of underground work to make sure that that's all set up. But kudos to the kids for performing at high levels.
That is really awesome. Not to go on too much of a tangent for that, but I know somebody who works as a assistant superintendent at a rural school district in Iowa, and they talk about how in communities like theirs and Horicon very similar, where you have manufacturing and farming, it can be very difficult to get students to look at AP classes seriously. as their mindset is, well, I'm just going to work at the facilities that are here. I'm just going to get into manufacturing like everybody else, or like my family does, or get into farming like my family does. And I don't need those AP classes.
Right.
And so having those available and having kids actually take them is huge.
Well, and not only that, but I would also say the amount of opportunities we have for students across the board to take advantage of programming that prepares them for the post-secondary environment is incredible. We have 14 students currently enrolled in the Youth Apprenticeship Program in Horicon. And YA, or Youth Apprenticeship, provides opportunities for kids to be involved not only in the workplace, but also in the courses that prepare them for that. And so I think when we're able to coordinate not just advanced placement, but our dual credit opportunities that give them credit for Moraine Park and other technical colleges, the opportunities to earn college credit, we offer through Start College Now if we don't have a course, and in the school district, we coordinate with Moraine Park and other organizations to provide that opportunity for children. So through all of those methods, we have a great opportunity to have students leave campus when they graduate with something under their belt that puts them in prime position to be successful when they leave. And I'm very proud of what those opportunities create for our students. So.
That was awesome.
And just as much as we like them to achieve, we like them to have fun as well. We had our Winterfest dance this last weekend. There was a lot of questions about it because, of course, we had to close school on Friday due to the cold weather. Right. So we then were able to decorate for Winterfest that morning. It was very cold and we had some smaller numbers in attendance. I'm sure it's because of the weather, but the kids were safe and they had a lot of fun. And I'd like to congratulate the King and Queen, Eli Coder and Caitlin Trotter, and our sweetheart couple, who was Cole Bergren and Aslan Heller, for their successful Winterfest court experience. So,
awesome.
And you know, as a school leader, you're always just really thankful every time a dance or another major event goes off with kids being safe and everything going well and kids having fun.
Right.
So
it's memorable for the fun times.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
It is. Big news, the press releases came out yesterday. Our open enrollment through Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction will open on Monday, February 2nd. For listeners who might not be aware of that, open enrollment is the opportunity for students who are not residents to open enroll into another district to go to school there. So, for instance, any other non-resident Horicon student who would like to apply for open enrollment to attend in Horicon, that will be open. And that runs from February 2nd through April 30th. That is a great opportunity for us to have more students join us, increase enrollment, of course, and service more students. So the information went public on pretty much every school district social media site yesterday, and it's very easily accessible on DPI's website as well. But if anyone is interested in coming in to open enroll in the school district of Horicon, it is absolutely essential that they do so through that application process that is online between February 2nd and April 30th.
Now, I see kind of a little note here saying that you guys are looking to increase enrollment rates.
Absolutely.
Obviously, we just talked a little bit about the amazing building you guys have there. Plenty of room for that building to house more students and bring more students in.
And each January, school boards, they approve the number of open enrolled seats that they have available for the upcoming year, and our board did that just this last meeting. So it varies based on where our enrollment trends are according to how many seats we have open.
Right.
And so, you know, for the most part, though, we are wide open for business and really excited to have more students joining us. And it is, again, it's just a great opportunity to, even if people are interested, if they want to come see what Horicon is like, get a tour, we would be more than happy to accommodate that for any of our families that are interested.
That's awesome.
And speaking of enrollment, we will be registering the class of 2040
Making me feel really old here, Katie.
on February 17th. And it just every year that new class roll comes in. And it's hard to believe that those little guys and girls will be the class of 2040. But on February 17th, we will have open registration for any 4K or new 5K student. We, of course, will still accept kids after that date, but that is a great opportunity for any families who are interested. It's by appointment only, so call us and get the spot reserved. But then it's a great opportunity for them not only to get registered, but to meet with our staff. Because it's appointment only, our staff will break into small groups with the children. Sometimes it's one-on-one, sometimes it's just in small groups of 2 or 3. They have opportunities to play and get to know them. Families can see the spaces and get acquainted with everybody who would be helping with their children, and then they're registered and ready to go. So for any parent who's a little anxious about that, you got to just come in and tear off the Band-Aid,
Right.
and we will take incredible care of the little ones, but we want them to get registered early. That also helps us to prepare for how many sections of 4K we have in kindergarten as well. We do, again, offer full-day 4-year-old kindergarten programming free of charge. And so students attend the 4K program just like they do the regular elementary school from 8 o'clock until 3:10. And we have Y-Care services available before and after school also. So we have lots of opportunities to care for the littles. So excited to have them in.
I remember way back in my youth, my kindergarten was half-day kindergarten. So to hear full-day, kindergarten being a thing, of course, for a while now, and then now full-day 4K being
Yeah.
offered, it's a great opportunity. So highly recommend parents take advantage of that. Information is out there on your guys' social media. I'm sure it's out there on the school website as well.
Absolutely. Yep.
And I know there's now an event on the event calendar at dailydodge.com where people can go and click on that and get information as well. So don't want to miss that one. Get your kids started out right.
And along those lines, our course selection is happening in high school. This is the time in all districts where kids are selecting their classes and their electives and everything they're going to do next year.
It's an exciting time.
It is the middle of the depths of winter, but we are preparing for next fall. So it's time to get all of that done. And if anyone has questions, our counselor, Mrs. DeZeo, and any of us would be happy to answer their questions. But there's a ton of information available on our website for that process also. And our seniors are starting to prepare to graduate. So their scholarship applications will be due in the near future. They should be applying for as many scholarships as they can get their hands on. And locally, we are really proud and grateful for everyone who donates to our local scholarship funds. We give away a lot of money, and I'll be able to announce that when I come back in June. But we're really proud of the amount of scholarships that are provided to our kids locally, and the only way that kids can get them is if they apply for them. So we encourage all students to do that.
Now, if somebody out there in the community didn't know that they could contribute to these scholarship funds, how do they do so? How do they reach out to you guys?
We have information on our website for that, but either myself, Mrs. Graven, our principal, or Mrs. DeZeo, our school counselor, can help connect families or any businesses or groups looking to get in on that. We would be happy to coordinate. We also have a couple groups who work through the Marshman Foundation and have money set aside in those investment funds for scholarships as well. So, and I can help get connected with the foundation as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I like it.
Yep. We have on the side of things with band and choir. Last week, our honors band took place in North Fond du Lac. We had 9 musicians attend that. And our Flyway High School Honors Choir is taking place today in Laconia. So in my upcoming Marshman Minute, there will be some pictures of all of the kids participating. The families who get the Marsh Minute, or anyone who wants to look online can go look at that next week once I publish it. Just a great opportunity for our kids to show their strengths and do what they love to do. So we're happy for that.
I like that. How do we get on that mailing list for the Marsh Minute?
I can personally add you to that if you'd
Go
like
right
to
ahead.
see
I'd
that.
absolutely. I'd love to be on top of what's
Or
going
Trish
on.
can. Trish, I'm sure you're listening. You
There you
can
go.
help me remember that, please. But we always publish it on our website and our social media too, so it's available for everybody. We are really pleased with the other activities going on, and I don't want to go over my time here, but
Oh, you're
both
good.
our high school girls and boys basketball varsity teams are currently second place in conference. They're having great years and are competing at very high levels. So I'd like to give a shout out to those kids. And we also co-op with Beaver Dam girls hockey. Well, we co-op with boys as well, but we have one of our students on the girls hockey team. I believe they're first in conference, and they won their game again last night. So
Yeah, they're really doing well.
I touched base with her this morning, and things are going really well. We will host our girls wrestling invite on Saturday up at Horicon High School and on the complex. So excited to have the wrestlers on board. And our ice fishing crew has lots of ice this year. So I'm really
Yes.
happy for them that the club can get out and get their ice fishing tournaments taken in. They're having a good season so far, and at our last community coffee, they shared some of the pictures of the fish they've been catching, and it's pretty impressive.
Nice.
So our bowlers continue to perform really well, and each time they go out, it seems like they're performing better and better. So we're really excited for our bowlers to continue their hard work. And our esports team is in the middle of the winter season. We completed in Mario Kart on Monday, and tonight we compete in Varsity, Marvel, Rivals, and Fortnite.
I actually know what those are.
Okay,
so,
I was
yeah.
gonna say I personally do. I know what Fortnite is, but I'm glad you know what those are. So the kids are really excited to be able to participate in those events. And tomorrow we complete in JV Fortnite. And it sounds, when I talked to Mr. Kano and Mr. Watley, the advisors, we are currently in second place overall in Fortnite. So kudos to the esports kids for all of their
There you go.
hard work participating in those games.
Words none of us thought we'd ever hear being uttered ever in our youth, but esports becoming a bigger thing. So really awesome that a school district the size of Horicon's embracing that.
Absolutely. And, research shows us over and over again that kids who are involved in anything extracurricular are far more engaged and likely to succeed and graduate from high school. So the more opportunities we have, Science Olympiad being another one, they continue to thrive. And I believe in some of our meets, we're adding second teams that are going along. Those opportunities are fantastic for kids. Our math meet will have their meet on Monday, March 9th. So they're starting to get together and practice for the math meets as well. And forensics has their first meet on Monday, February 2nd. So again, any of those opportunities for kids to be involved and stay connected in positive social ways, that's what we're here for.
Awesome.
I would like to I gave a shout out to Brian Berggren and his maintenance crew already, but Brian was recently awarded the WADA Wisconsin Service Award from the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association. So for his exceptional service and planning and the work of his crew to make sure that activities can happen outside of the school day and go off without a hitch, we'd like to give him kudos for that.
Yeah,
So
that's a
good
lot
job
of
to
work.
Brian.
So well
It
done to
is.
him and his crew.
Our FFA is having their annual strawberry sale. So if anyone is interested in getting some delicious strawberries just at the peak of the season here, all the information is online, and I believe FFA, they posted that through their Facebook as well. It will go in my Marshman Minute, so when I send you that, I'll make sure you
Perfect.
have that. But it's $30 a flat, $20 for a half flat, and $5 for a single. So
The season where?
wherever they acquire them from.
Oh, okay.
I'm guessing
You got two
somewhere
of us
south.
laughing as
Right.
I
you
know.
said it.
Well, this is the time though, right before Valentine's Day. You can
Oh,
usually
yeah.
go in the stores and get some fresh
If
strawberries.
they came pre-frozen, that'd be pretty handy.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
keep them outside for about 5 minutes.
Yeah,
that's it.
exactly. The foundation continues to support us. We met for a foundation meeting this morning, and again had two donors increase to platinum level with us, which is over $1,000. So we're appreciative of everyone who's giving at that level. And then mark calendars, because August 15th is the annual Marshman Open golf outing. So we'll be working on the planning for that coming up soon. And in news for the Marsh Area Chamber of Commerce, we are hosting a bowling 9-pin tap tournament on Saturday, February 7th at Cardinal Lanes. It looks like it takes place at 3 p.m., 6 p.m., and 9 p.m. with registration the hour before each of those. And the last bit of news that I have is that our second to last community coffee is taking place March 19th. I'll put a plug in for that again next month when we come, but looking forward to, in the month of March, being able to share some musical performances as well as have National FFA Week right around that time. So we'll be able to highlight some of the work that they're doing as well.
Awesome. A lot of good information shared there. Of course, we want to remind everybody that you can go back and rewatch this on Daily Dodge TV on YouTube, as well as on Facebook. We actually tag the school district on Facebook, so you guys can find it there as well. And of course, apparently be on the lookout for that March Minute and find it on the website also.
We'll make sure you get it.
Take another moment to remind everybody, because I know we briefly touched at the beginning, February 14th, Lions Club Safari Dinner. If you're interested, reach out to a Lions member. And I'm going to throw this pitch out there because lots of kids have to walk these sidewalks and get back and forth to school. Please shovel. Get out there and get your shoveling done. Good idea to do it now because this may be the warmest weather we get for a little bit. So do it while you got the chance to do so. Katie, Josh, I thank you guys so much for coming on, taking the time for us to be here, and look forward to speaking to you guys again soon.
We appreciate it. Thank
See you
you.
in a few weeks.
Absolutely. This has been a paid program. The advice and opinions expressed on the program are solely that of the City of Horicon and the Horicon School District, not necessarily WBEV or Good Karma Brands.